I first noticed it my third night in the building. Slow, deliberate footsteps coming from the apartment above mine. At first I didn't think much of it. It's an old building, the kind with creaky wooden floors and thin walls. People pace, they have late nights, maybe they're restless. But what struck me almost immediately was the rhythm. It wasn't random wandering or someone getting ready for bed. It was a steady, methodical loop back and forth, heel to toe, over and over. The sound started every night at exactly 11:17 p.m. I'd be sitting on my couch, maybe scrolling on my phone or watching TV, and there it would be, a soft thump, then another, and another. The steps would cross from one side of the ceiling to the other, pause for a few seconds, then return. The cycle never changed. I didn't know who lived above me. I'd moved in only a week earlier and hadn't met most of my neighbors. But the building's hallways were always strangely empty. I figured I'd run into them eventually. After a few nights of this, curiosity got the better of me. I went upstairs around 10 p.m. before the pacing started and knocked on the door. No answer? I waited. Knocked again, nothing. The apartment looked dark through the peephole, but I couldn't see much. That night at 11:17 sharp, the footsteps began again. They went on for hours. I eventually fell asleep, only to wake up at 3:40 a.m. to silence. I thought maybe they'd finally gone to bed. The next morning, I ran into my landlord in the lobby. I casually asked who lived in the unit above mine. He froze for a split second before saying, "That place is vacant right now. Been empty for months." I laughed, thinking maybe he was joking, but his face didn't change. "Probably the pipes you're hearing," he added quickly, before turning away to answer a phone call. I didn't believe him. Pipes don't sound like footsteps. That night, I stayed up and recorded the sound on my phone. When I played it back the next morning, it was clear, measured human footsteps. I thought about sending the recording to the landlord, but I already knew what he'd say. Instead, I decided to knock again the next night. I waited until 11:17, just as the pacing began, then went upstairs. My heart was pounding. I stood in front of the door and listened. The footsteps were right on the other side, moving back and forth. I knocked. They stopped instantly. The silence was worse than the footsteps. I knocked again, softer this time. "Hello, I live downstairs," I called. "Can we talk for a second?" No response. Then slowly the footsteps resumed, but now they were moving toward the door. I stepped back. They stopped directly in front of me. I could feel, somehow, that whoever or whatever was inside was standing there, inches away from the thin slab of wood separating us. I waited, holding my breath. Then came a faint, deliberate sound, a long inhale, like someone smelling the air through the crack at the bottom of the door. I bolted back to my apartment. The pacing returned that night, and the next, and the next. Every time it started, I turned up the TV to drown it out. But it was getting louder, like whoever was up there was pressing their weight harder into each step. One night, around 1 a.m., I woke up to the sound directly above my bed. The pacing had moved from the living room area to right over my bedroom. I lay there, frozen, listening. The steps stopped. Then I heard the faintest creak of my ceiling, like someone crouching down. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next day, I ran into an older woman who lived 2 doors down from me. I asked her casually. I tried about the apartment above mine. She glanced around before speaking. "No one lives there," she whispered. "Not anymore." I asked what she meant, but she just shook her head and walked away. That evening, I came home from work and found a piece of paper slid under my door. No envelope, no signature. Just one line written in shaky handwriting. "Don't go upstairs again." That night, I didn't hear the footsteps at 11:17. I thought maybe it was over. But at exactly 3:40 a.m., I woke up to a new sound, soft tapping on my ceiling directly above where my head rested on the pillow. The tapping moved slowly toward the wall, then down and down, until it was coming from inside my bedroom wall at the headboard. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Then came a whisper, so faint I thought I might be imagining it. You're in my spot. The pacing never stopped after that. Only now, sometimes it's not just above me. Sometimes it's in the hall outside my door. And last night, swear I heard it inside my apartment. Ask ChatGPT.